This week, we have a new moon in Taurus, which is going to be challenging Mars the warrior and Pluto the transformer. All of this, an empowered moment and more in my new intuitive energy forecast for the week of Monday, April 21st through Sunday, April 27th, 2025. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, starseed astrologer and spiritual messenger from Sacred Soul Empowerment, here with your intuitive energy forecast for the week. For this week, we're going to be using the Animal Wise Tarot by Ted Andrews, and that's going to be the main message for everyone. Your special message card this week, depending on your stone of choice, is going to be coming from The Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle deck by Abiola Abrams. So before we get into looking at those stones of choice or the astrology for the week, let's go ahead, close our eyes, settle in, and do an empowered moment. So if you close your eyes, relax your body, clear your mind of all thoughts, visualizing golden white light all around you. The golden white light of protection and guidance, healing and messages. And as you see or sense, feel, or just know that you're surrounded in this golden white light, let's take a deep breath and breathe in that golden white light into every cell of our bodies. As you exhale, you're letting go of all that your body, mind, and soul no longer needs. And take another deep breath, breathing in that activating, beautiful golden white light. But this time as you exhale, imagine roots coming out of the soles of your feet, going down into Earth Mother Gaia. Deeper and deeper down, those roots from the soles of your feet are going deeper into her nurturing energy until they reach her heart chakra in the center of the earth. And Earth Mother Gaia lovingly reaches out, taking the roots that are coming from the soles of your feet that have traveled down through the layers of her crust. And she takes those roots and plugs them into her own heart chakra, where as she breathes in and breathes out, it is nurturing you with her loving, unconditionally loving and supportive energy. And as you breathe in and out, you're breathing in that nurturing, mothering, healing energy from Earth Mother Gaia. As you exhale, letting go again of all that your body, mind, and soul no longer needs. Knowing that Earth Mother Gaia is lovingly supporting you in this week and every week. Feeling safe and secure, comfortable and at peace. And taking one last deep healing, cleansing, and balancing breath. When you feel ready, you can open your eyes and return back to this time and place and space. We're going to get ready now to look at our stones of choice for the week. So our first stone of choice is yellow fluorite. Now these are all yellow stones for the week. I felt we needed to connect with our solar plexus chakra this week because some of the astrological transits that are going on have a lot to do with some Pluto energy and some Mars energy too. And Pluto is about power and Mars is the warrior. So I felt like we needed to really be in our confidence and courage and in our own personal power during this week. But the yellow fluorite, this yellow stone, the yellow fluorite is great for joy, vitality, optimism, self-confidence, creativity, mental clarity, and it helps to increase our resourcefulness. Okay, so that's the yellow fluorite. Our second stone of choice is golden calcite. So the golden calcite is a stone, I'm stumbling here, a stone that helps to clear negative energy. It helps to transmute blockages in the body, helps to boost our self-esteem, to assist us in stepping forward into success. And then our last stone of choice, I think the reason why I stumbled there for a minute was because I was going to say connects to the solar plexus chakra, but all of these are yellow stones. So all of these stones connect us to our center of personal power, that solar plexus chakra. The last stone of choice is called bumblebee jasper. And the bumblebee jasper helps to awaken our willpower and our drive to create. It helps you to see open doors. In other words, that's metaphoric, right? It helps you to see open doors of opportunity in front of you, and it helps you to stay in a positive mindset. So again, our stones of choice for the week are the yellow fluorite, the golden calcite, and the bumblebee jasper. Okay, so let's talk about the astrology for the week. We start out with the first thing of significance happening on Wednesday, the 23rd of April. And this is where the sun, which is a planet of our light shining forth and our creative self-expression and our ego and our vitality. And right now the sun is shining its light through the lens of Taurus, which is more practical and grounded and determined. It's an earth sign, right? So we've got that practicality going on. But on Wednesday, it's going to be challenging Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, power and control, transformation, regeneration. And when we have a challenging square aspect, it gives us a little bit of a push, which feels uncomfortable often. And that push is regarding the energies that both of the planets have to do with. So here we have the sun, our self, our vitality, our ego. It can deal with success. It deals again with shining your light and creative self-expression out into the world. And it's challenging Pluto. So there can be some power and control issues this week because we want to stand in our radiance. But there might be some kickback from other people or organizations, or maybe we're just having a moment within ourselves as well. This is about transformation and change, but again, it comes through challenge because it's a challenging aspect. There's some sort of death and rebirth energies going on here. We might feel pushed. So there's a little bit of difficult energy here. And the fact that the sun is in Taurus, which is known as a fixed sign, and Pluto is in Aquarius right now, known as a fixed sign. Fixed means stubborn energy, where there's not any real give, right? There's not an ability to want to open up to see other potentials and possibilities. So we've got this kind of tug of war going on with the sun and Pluto on Wednesday. Now on Thursday, the 24th, we have Venus, planet of love and relationships, our resources like money and finances. Our resources are also about our gifts and talents and our time. Venus rules what we value, who we value, and how we value ourselves. Now she's in Pisces. She's still in Pisces from her long retrograde motion. She started her retrograde motion in Aries, which is the first sign of the zodiac. But then she retrograded back into Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac. And so she's still there. She's almost done with her transit through Pisces. But on Thursday, she's going to be connecting with Saturn. And Saturn is in Pisces as well. And Saturn is the great teacher of karmic lessons. And he's all about responsibility. And he's about the lessons that we're needing to learn, what he's trying to teach us. It's about patience, determination. It's about structure or restructuring something. And because Venus has been retrograde, she has actually already connected with Saturn twice. This is her third and last time while in the sign of Pisces that she will be connecting to Saturn. So this has really been bringing up some lessons for us, lessons regarding all of our relationships, romantic, friendship, work, family. So there's been kind of this review process, this reevaluation process that we've been going through. Now, this can also be in the area of money and finances and other types of resources, our possessions. And it can also be about matters of how we feel about ourselves. Saturn sometimes brings up insecurity. And so here, because Venus rules our sense of self-worth and Saturn can be about insecurity, again, we've been reevaluating and contemplating these energies, these ideas about, do I really love myself and respect myself, value myself? Do I set good boundaries in my life with other people, in my relationships, in the circumstances that I'm moving through? So again, this is the third and last time that Venus is connecting with Saturn. So it might feel a little heavy. Maybe it has been for a little while because it wasn't too long ago that she made her second connection with Saturn. And now it's the third. So they've come kind of close together as far as the second and third connection. And we're coming to the end and completion of whatever that cycle is. So hopefully we are standing on our own 2 feet and taking some sort of responsibility for the lessons that we are learning or that the universe has been trying to teach us, the information that our angels and guides has been giving us, and really saying, yes, I value myself. Yes, I've learned what I needed to learn from this situation, this circumstance, and I'm ready for closure and completion of whatever this is all about. On Saturday the 26th, we have Mars, the warrior, opposing Pluto, the transformer. So Mars, at this point, Mars is back into Leo, which he likes because Mars is a fiery planet, passionate planet, and Leo is a fire sign. But in that opposition to Pluto, and Pluto again is about transformation and regeneration and transition and transmutation. It's a powerhouse of energy, that Pluto. And Mars, also being the warrior, is a powerhouse in his own right. So we've got two very powerful planets opposing one another. Mars in fire sign Leo and Pluto in air sign Aquarius. And what happens when we put fire and air together? If we add air to fire, it's like that fuel for the fire to make it larger. So there is some sort of maybe explosive moment here. This could be metaphoric. This could be in conversations or, connections with other people. It could be in any area of our life, really. It could be work, job, something with money and finances where there's maybe a power and control struggle, maybe a push for dominance in some way. Maybe it's us wanting to stand on our own 2 feet in our strength and confidence and courage. That Mars in Leo is about strength and confidence and courage to, again, move forward in the best possible way. And sometimes Mars likes to steamroll over other energies to get to where he wants to go. But Pluto, again, is very powerful, and Pluto's not going to allow being steamrolled. So sometimes there's a head-to-head kind of confrontation, that could be metaphoric, of energies that takes us to a new and different place. Again, this death and rebirth energy is what's kind of underneath all of that. So be aware of that and be in a place of peace in your heart, be in a place of groundedness in your beingness, be in a place of balance within your soul, because we don't want to add that fuel to the fire, right? We don't want something to get overly dramatic or volatile in any way. This could be an event that happens, such as, let's say it's about your job or career, and all of a sudden there's been changes in downsizing and you find out, that you've been let go. That could be, one example of something that happens where it's not always necessarily about other people coming at you, but it's about a situation or circumstance that kind of, in a sense, metaphorically again, gets triggered. I guess that's a good way to say it. There's a triggering effect here. And then on Sunday the 27th, we have a new moon, and new moons are about new beginnings. This one is at 7 degrees of Taurus. Now, the interesting thing about the new moon in Taurus, or one of the interesting things, is that the last full moon that we had 2 weeks ago, the full moon was in Libra. Libra is the sign of partnerships and relationships, and Libra is ruled by the planet Venus that rules love and relationships. This week, Venus also rules this new moon in Taurus, because Venus rules Taurus as well. And this week, as we mentioned earlier, Venus connects with Saturn. So there's some sort of a completion, closure to some sort of karmic lessons regarding, again, money, finance, love, relationship, values, and self-worth. This new moon at 7 degrees of Taurus is going to be challenging both Mars and Pluto. So Mars and Pluto, just the day before, came head to head. Now this moon in Taurus is challenging both of those planets, setting off what's called a T-square in astrology. And T-squares are a real push of challenge to get us moving in a particular direction, or get us moving towards making a change that's maybe needed but uncomfortable. So, you know, again, with a new moon, we're planting new seeds and setting some new intentions. And Taurus does rule money and finances, and Taurus does rule our values, our possessions, what we value, who we value, and how we value ourselves. So this could still, you know, be a continuation from that full moon in Libra, and even the two prior eclipses that we had in March. There's still like the story unfolding here. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the messages from our angels and guides for the week. So the first card from the Animal Wise Tarot is Major Arcana 11, and it's the Justice card. In the Animal Wise Tarot, it's the Elephant, and it says here at the bottom, Ancient Powers of Justice at Work. So the elephant, right? It's an ancient, one of the more ancient animals on the planet, right? Possibly a descendant from the dinosaur era, you know, of some sort. And here, this is a large, powerful, you know, animal, right? But the elephant also has a gentle and even a mothering and nurturing side, as you might often read or watch documentaries where they're very loving and mothering to their children, and they're very much family oriented. So the elephant has both a powerful and a gentle side to it. And here again, we have the Justice card. This would be like the woman in the tarot holding the scales of justice. So there's a balancing going on here, a balancing that's being portrayed with both the power and the gentleness of this element. And so it does say ancient powers of justice are at work. It feels like there is a rebalancing of the karmic scales, so to speak. This might, at times or in moments, especially this week, be seemingly out of our control. In other words, the universe is rewriting the story for us, or the universe is helping to realign us with our truth. Sometimes it's about, you know, picking us up where we're at because we're off path, and then setting us down where we need to be. And so it just feels like with this Pluto energy, because we started out, the first thing we talked about was the sun in a challenging aspect to Pluto. And then Saturday, Mars is opposing Pluto, which is another challenging aspect. And then the new moon on Sunday challenges Pluto and Mars. So we have this kind of almost, in a way, fated sort of feeling here with this Major Arcana card. There's something big going on a soul level. When we have a Major Arcana card, it's a soul evolution and growth energy that's happening. It's not the day-to-day workings of our life energy. That's the Minor Arcana, right? Where we're dealing with the day-to-day things in our human existence. The Major Arcana is more our soul existence, what's going on a higher soul level. So again, think of the scales of justice, and there's something that's being rebalanced here for us. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next card here. The next card is another Major Arcana. It's Major Arcana 8. This is the Strength card with the lion in the Animal Wise Tarot. At the bottom, it says Strength of Will from the Inner Sun. Okay, so we do have the sun highlighted, squaring Pluto on Wednesday, but also the new moon on Sunday means that the moon and the sun come together at that 7 degree of Taurus point. Now, the Strength card, and being ruled by the lion, it has that kind of Leo sort of feel, and that's where Mars is right now. Mars is in Leo, the lion, and Leo's about strength. Leo's about confidence, like the lion. Leo's about courage, like the lion. Leo's about leadership, like the lion here. So you can see from what it says at the bottom, strength of will from the inner sun, from your inner sun, from your inner being. It's like you're focused on that solar plexus chakra, which is interesting that I chose all those yellow stones, or those golden yellow stones that relate to the solar plexus chakra, because the strength card does as well. So we're grounding ourselves in our personal power. We're connecting with our confidence, courage, leadership ability. This can even be about creative self-expression, because Leo is creative self-expression. But it's your willpower here. So far we've got two very powerful cards. We've got the Justice card with the elephant. We've got the Strength card with the lion. Some very powerful energies here. Let's take a look and see what the last card is. Another major arcana. Not as strong of an animal as the other two, but this is the coyote, right? The Fool. This is Major Arcana 0, the Fool with the coyote. And it says at the bottom, wisdom and folly. Okay, so the Fool card in the traditional tarot is about taking a leap of faith. It's like taking a chance, taking a risk, jumping off the cliff, metaphorically speaking, right? So we're taking a leap of faith. We're taking a risk into something new. This is a new beginning. It's Major Arcana 0. It's the first of the Major Arcana, just like we have this new moon in Taurus. So we are moving into a new beginning. But the coyote is a trickster, right? In Native American traditions, he's known as the trickster. The Fool can be looked at as the trickster card in the tarot. And because it says wisdom and folly, it makes me feel like this new moon in Taurus at the end of the week, that there's something mischievous about it. When I think of the coyote, I think of mischievousness, right? Like, haha, I'm going to trick you, or I'm going to do something silly that you're not expecting, or, something like that. It has a lighthearted feel to it, right? So I don't know if whatever this energy is that maybe we're not totally consciously aware of yet, this new beginning, that there is a lightness to it. I mean, I hope so, because some of these transits this week are a little bit more challenging. But if we can kind of move through that, because again, with the Major Arcana showing up in every placement this week, this is something that's happening on a soul level. This is about a soul redirection and evolution and growth, something we need to understand, be aware of, heal. And a lot of this, I think, has to do with, again, being in our center of personal power, having that confidence in ourselves, and that willpower to move through the challenges, right? Because we're moving through the challenges that it seems like maybe the Justice card, the universe, is bringing in sort of on a fated level. But if we can do all of that, we come to this new beginning where we just have to, again, let go, surrender, trust, and have faith. We're just going to, say, okay, I'll just jump into it. This is what I'm being shown. This is what I'm being guided towards. This is what I'm being led towards. I'm just going to fall into it. That's kind of what the Fool is. The Fool is going to jump off that cliff without knowing how far down before he lands, if he's going to land on his own 2 feet, if it's going to be water beneath when he jumps off the cliff, if it's going to be land, if it's going to be, something soft or something not so soft, if he's going to be carried down by the angels. He has no idea what's going to happen. So if you can approach this week moving into this new moon as, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I'm going to trust and have faith. And I'm going to look at the lightness of it all. I'm going to look at the interesting, energetic unfolding of what's happening here. And I'm going to let the coyote lead my way across the river, so to speak, paying attention to each step along the way as the coyote is kind of stepping on these stones across the water, across the river. So kind of watching each step, being aware of each step, consciously aware as you're taking each step, as you're crossing this, barrier, this challenge, or going over the bridge of whatever metaphorically you're being led towards. And again, just have faith that you're being led to where you need to be, that you're going to be picked up and dropped, to where you need to be next. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at what message your angels and guides have for you depending on your stone of choice. Again, this is the Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle deck. So the first stone of choice was the yellow fluorite. Special message for the week for yellow fluorite people. This one's calling my attention. And we've got the matriarch, number 3, the matriarch. Now it says at the bottom, nurture the harvest, which has a very positive kind of feeling to it or connotation to it. Now, the Secrets of the Ancestors deck, I love this deck. It's not a tarot deck, but it emulates a lot of the tarot cards of the major arcana in the tarot. So this being number 3, the matriarch, is like the Empress. And the Empress card in the tarot is about getting ready to give birth to something new, creative expansion and self-expression. It's the mothering, nurturing energy of the Empress, okay? And here in this card, we do have an Empress, a woman who's holding a child, who's holding a baby. She seems to be very peaceful and calm, and the baby seems to be sleeping. So there is a peaceful and a gentleness energy here. She's got stars around her head. So it just makes me think of reaching for the stars, right? Don't hold yourself back or down in any way, right? Reach for the stars, shoot for the moon kind of thing. She's wearing this beautiful kind of indigo blue color that reminds me of the third eye chakra, our center of clairvoyance and clear vision and imagination. And since her eyes are closed, I want to say take some time this week and really visualize and see in your mind's eye, use your imagination to see what you want to create with the Empress here. What do you want to give birth to? What new project, new idea? Maybe it's a new relationship. Maybe it's a new career. You know, maybe maybe it's a new whatever, you know, it's just something that you're giving this birth of this nurturing, mothering energy to. You're tending to it with love. And so if you nurture that, as it says at the bottom, nurture the harvest, nurturing that idea or nurturing that new plan or that next step is going to bring in the fruition of what it is that you desire. It's going to bring in the hopes, dreams, and wishes with the stars above her head here. So this is a great message for those of you that chose the fluorite. Let's put that back in the deck in case somebody else gets it. And the second stone of choice was the golden calcite. Special message for golden calcite. You know, this one that's touching the bottom, or what's like the bottom of my finger. It's what I'm pulling out here. Interesting. Very different energy for the golden calcite people. It's called the loner. And this is isolation and introspection. Often before a new moon, we go into a period of isolation and introspection. Now, this is number 9, and the 9th major arcana in the traditional tarot is the Hermit. So this is very much like the Hermit card, the loner. We need to take some time out for ourselves. We need to be alone, have some silence, do some meditation, contemplation, really be within ourselves. The Hermit is the seeker of its own light. The Hermit is the seeker of its own internal intuitive messages. So we need to have that silent and alone time in order to figure out, what am I feeling? What am I sensing? What is my inner spirit calling me towards? You know, what are the messages that are coming through my soul? And you can see the Hermit usually holds a lantern, which is the Hermit lighting his own way down the path. The loner here looks like a Native American, perhaps warrior, but he's got a smudge stick. So I want to say clear and cleanse. I just heard clear, cancel, delete. So any negative thoughts, any negative emotions, any negative situations, it's like, let's clear, cancel, delete. Let's use this metaphoric smudge stick here to clear away any lower vibrational energies, purify ourselves, right? So during this new moon, you might want to take a healing bath, for instance. Go for a walk out in nature, right? The Hermit would really revel in that kind of energy. And take a moment, right? This Hermit is not walking. This Hermit is kind of crouched down in a moment of pause, a moment of self-reflection. So take those moments that you need to this week to take that pause in order to be still enough to receive the inner guidance that is coming forth within you. All right, let's put that one back. And then the last stone of choice was the bumblebee jasper. All right, give us a little shuffle and a special message for the week for Bumblebee, Jasper people. I almost dropped this one, so this is the one I'm going to take. And this one's called the Monarch. This is number 7, the Monarch. And it says at the bottom, victorious. Now, if you look at the imagery on the Monarch, you can see that it looks very much like Major Arcana 7 in the traditional tarot called the Chariot. Okay, we've got, instead of 2 horses, we've got 2 Sphinx, a black Sphinx and a lighter colored Sphinx, which is typical in the Chariot card with the black horse and the white horse. We've got the Monarch, which is like the charioteer, you know, in his chariot being kind of driven forward. And he's kind of sort of in a chariot, but then again, I don't know. I guess he is. I guess he's in a chariot. It almost looks like one of those, what do you call those things that are outside, a veranda or something you're sitting underneath? So here he is. Now, typically the Chariot card would be about moving forward. It's about aligning the energies that are discordant, because we've got a black Sphinx looking one way, a lighter Sphinx looking the other way. And so if you think about that as how is this moving forward? If these sphinxes are looking in opposite directions, they're not going to get very good forward movement. They need to be focused on the same direction in order to move forward properly. So this is about bringing energies into alignment. Let's bring any discordant energies into alignment. We might be being pulled this way, and then we might be being pulled that way. We have 2 different ideas going on, or thoughts or beliefs going on, or maybe one person or group of people saying you should do this and another group saying you should do that. We need to bring things into alignment before we're able to move forward in a beneficial way. However, this particular card, Victorious, seems to suggest you're going to be able to do that. You're going to be victorious. You're going to be successful. You've got, interestingly enough, it's almost like 2 suns here in the background. Not just one sun, but you got 2 suns. And so you've got double the willpower, double the confidence, double the courage, double the leadership ability in order to make this happen, in order to make that next step one that's going to be victorious and successful. So that's a great message as well. All right, everybody, I hope you have enjoyed this weekly intuitive reading. We're getting close to another month. I can't believe April's almost over. So soon we'll be doing the monthly reading for May. In the meantime, thank you so much for your love and support, your comments on my YouTube videos, checking out my services on my website, Sacred Soul Empowerment, supporting me on my meetup page. Can't believe how many people have joined my meetup page. If you go to meetup.com, look up Sacred Soul Empowerment, that's my group. You can join it and see all the classes, lectures, workshops, meditations, and events that are going on online, on Zoom, and occasionally also in the area of Greenville, South Carolina in person. But sending you all lots of love and light and many, many blessings for a wonderful week ahead. Namaste, everyone.